and it could be afternoon or evening, depending on where you are and where we are. I'd like to share with you today this book. It's called Leave Your Perfect at the Door. And it says, seeking excellence, not perfection. Interesting in the Bible, when in the New Testament it's talking of perfect, it means excellence. And it doesn't mean that we don't have flaw. It means we bring the very best that we have to the table. And so I'd like to read this to you. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. Beliefs determine actions, which determine outcomes. As leaders, we have to take a look at what our actions are. And when we look at what our actions are, uh, what causes us to look at those are our outcomes. Because if, let's say, I speed, that's an action. My outcome is I get a ticket. The only way that's ever going to change is if I go back to my belief that says it's okay for me to speed because I can go faster than the speed limit. That rule's not for me. That's what beliefs say. Usually beliefs are saying that's good for you guys, but that's not for me. My rights, my privileges, my whatever. And so what I want to help you do is look at your actions and see if it's belief or behavior modification. A lot of the time we do things so that we can get what we want. So we modify. Guys, if you get in trouble with the wife, call the dudes and you say, guys, I got to lay low. I pissed off the wife. I did some stupid stuff. So just lay low and it'll all be cool. And then we'll get to go back to what was. Well, see, that's behavior modification. And I promise you that will result in the same consequence, if not greater, every time, because people lose trust in us doing that, right? So I want you to get these ideas. The story behind this book is that we have a billboard. We are a billboard, and we try and make the front of it look so perfect and special and good by how we dress, how we talk, what we do, because we want everybody to like our billboard, because we're competing with their billboard. Theirs looks cool. Mine's got to look cool. The Bible calls this envy, believe it or not. And a lot of times it's people pleasing. But here's the crazy thing. On the opposite side, the back side of the billboard is really the truth about us. And it's pretty broken and damaged. Matter of fact, it's held together with baling wire. And every time there's a cut or a tear or a blemish, we slap something on the front to cover it up to make it look good instead of letting people see that we're broken. Honestly, the best billboard is the one that's truth on the front as well as the back. But the world doesn't let us do that. And success is defined by world standards instead of God's standards. And when we start trusting God, believe it or not, that He loves us in spite of all this stuff, we'll quit putting covers on the front. We'll quit putting patches on the front. We'll quit trying to make our front look perfect. And believe it or not, we'll find peace and joy and rest that all that stuff can never provide. Okay, so that's the idea. Leave your perfect at the door means, man, don't bring it in. Leave it there. When we start to teach or share at Set Free Ministries, where we're at, that's what Heather and I do, and the group does. Okay, just leave your perfect at the door. If you want to pick it up on the way back out, that's cool. But this is a safe place to be broken. Man, if you're struggling with, oh my goodness, you got a broken marriage, quit telling me everything's good. You ever notice people as they come into church, people go, hey, how are you? And you go, hey, I'm doing great, and all the rest. But if we saw that family from the house when they're yelling at each other because they're not ready and you're never ready, and man, you're always late. What hurtful words, by the way. And then get in the car and come on, we're late. We won't get our seat. Someone will be in our seat. Can you imagine people have their own regular seat that they go to in church and are bent out of shape if somebody sits in their seat? That might be you. But do you catch what I'm saying? When people go, how are you doing? We want it to look like everything's great. One, we don't think they care, and a lot of people don't. And see, one billboard perfect wants to look at another billboard perfect. And if you're not perfect, well, you're not accepted. I'm just looking for the perfect because then you can be me. No, you know what? I want to be Christ. There's a difference in this. So our identity, our hopes, our dreams are all wrapped into this. So a lot of introduction. Leave your perfect at the door. Seeking excellence, not perfection. That's such a beautiful piece to it. So let me read this. If you would like a copy of it, they're available for $12.99. probably one of the most important books you can get. So I'm just going to read this for the next few days. So realize morning devotional time is going to be on this because it's about leadership. A leader that builds leaders can only do that when they're vulnerable, authentic, and transparent. I want you to say those words with me: vulnerable, authentic, and transparent. And so the cool thing is intimacy is into me see. That's what I want us to get. Okay, go like this because you're saying, yeah, okay, all right. Here's how it goes. Imagine Leave Your Perfect at the Door is a billboard. It's 10 to 15 feet wide, 25 feet high. It's a pretty good sized billboard. In the front of the billboard, it says perfect. Well, it's beautifully painted and really nicely decorated. Remember, this is talking about how we want our life seen. The backside, however, presents a completely different story. It is broken, patched up pieces of lumber, nails exposed, holding the frame together. The backside exposes all the true weakness of the billboard, while the front side makes it look great. Looking at the two sides, it's hard to imagine they are on the same billboard. By the way, have you ever gone to a meeting where you gather all the people that you kind of admire that are successful and you've not reached that goal yet? Take a look at what their billboard is. If they can't turn off the sales and turn on the person, then they've got a really perfect front, but I promise you the back is damaged. I want you to hear what I'm saying. I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just letting you know the reality of my life because this is my life. When I imagined myself looking through the fabric of the billboard, I saw clearly what was deepest and most covered up from the front. It was the least exposed to the front, but the most prominent from the backside. So what was least prominent or unclear from the backside was what was most outstanding from the front. It had become so thick that I couldn't look at the front and see the back, and I couldn't look at the back and see the front. Too many layers had been put on. When I looked from the backside of the billboard, I felt like what God must feel when he looks at me from the inside. And believe it or not, I found peace and rest once I could embrace that. What I saw most clearly from the back were the words broken and hurting. And what was most difficult to see was the word perfect that was on the front. And here's a little picture for you. That's kind of what the front might look like. Like that. So, all around the word perfect appeared to be flashing lights. It was great. It was beautiful. It was reflective with all sorts of glittery things. But from the back, the word broken clearly reflected the way that the foundation of the billboard was constructed. It was a bunch of patchwork, wood and supports that had been mismatched and obviously put together as quick fixes to hold the good-looking sign up in front so people could see it. I started to wonder how many layers there were between the words broken and perfect, and if the word broken was even visible at all from the front side. I could see the rips in the fabric that were now only visible from the backside because something had been put over that rip to hide it from the front. Every time some sort of damage happened to the billboard, something was placed over it to mask or disguise the broken part, because perfection needed to be preserved so others would want to look at my sign. I thought no one wants to look at a torn up, broken old sign, so I'd better make mine appear good like the rest of the billboards around me. Be careful what you surround yourself with. They create you. Make sure you surround yourself with authentic, transparent, and vulnerable people, not people that claim success, people that have exposed rest, peace, and joy inside of them. Yes? My value is in what others saw. God's value is in the billboard, not its appearance. God really cares about us. That's the cool thing. It may seem like a silly story to you, but to me, it was truly an epiphany. God was showing me what my life looked like from the outside in and then the inside out. He was showing me what he sees, not what I want to see, and that there was a great difference in the value of the billboard. See, people look at our front. We got to look really cool if we don't value us and don't believe God values us. My value was in what others saw, and his value was in the billboard itself and not its appearance. Now, I'd like to tell you that this story has everything to do with you and nothing to do with me, but that would be a lie. As a matter of fact, the more I prepare to share this wow moment that I'd learned with you, the more I realized that God was, as he normally does, he was allowing me to teach what I needed to learn most. So I'm sharing with you a very intimate piece of me, that how people see me was and still is important. And I have to deal with this every day and say, Lord, will you humble me some? And some days he goes, I'm going to humble you a lot. I realized that God was, and he normally does, allow me to teach what I needed to learn most, a new value, his value and not mine. Now, as I thought about this, the more I started to rationalize my salvation. Usually when we get into a crisis, somewhere tolerable pain, we question the crisis, we doubt things, and we go back to what's familiar, even though it's wrong. That's what I had started to do. I was rationalizing my salvation and defending my shiny front. I started to list all the things I'd done that changed my life when I accepted Christ. I started listing them out as though they were badges of honor, and I'd earned and achieved the battlefield of the Christian life through these things. I started to justify all the good things I'd done that would overrule or make up for all the bad things. See, I wasn't secure in God's love. I was negotiating salvation's terms and watering down the miracle of God's forgiveness of my past. Have you ever done that? Probably some of you are shaking your head. When we allow Jesus to change us from the inside out, we will look at our billboard in a totally different way. You see, Jesus changes everything. What makes us tick as a Christ follower? It's our foundation. If our intent is to live for Christ and be a Christ follower, we must surrender and let him change all of it. If we're truly Christ followers, and that's our intent, we're just putting all our beliefs and trust in him, saying, Lord, I want to do this with you and for you. We need to make sure that what we see as a Christ follower is accurate. Really important. Whatever you're chasing, make sure it's the real thing. That's because if not, you're following a counterfeit, right? God's word's another of our foundation. This is our meat, folks, the stew of life. We cannot ride on what others have told us. We need to really evaluate and verify what people say. It's so easy to crank somebody up and get them all excited. And yeah, cheer them on, but they have no idea what they're doing. They're just so overwhelmed that they're overjoyed. And when they get unwound, they're unjoyed. Well, it's not a word, but it sounds good. If our foundation's faulty, even the best intentions of our life will be faulty too. Now, in the Bible, if you have a Bible, crack it open. If you've never looked at it, this really is true in life all the way through. It's in Acts 17, verse 11. So that's in the right side of the Bible, okay? The Berean Jews were more notable character than the Thessalonians. These are two different areas of people, two makeups of people. For they received the message, this is the message that Paul was teaching about Jesus. They received the message with great eagerness. I want you to receive messages from those you can trust with great eagerness, but don't be a wound up toy, right? I want you to do this and examine the scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true. Well, you guys, I don't care what you're doing. When somebody's presenting something to you, what you need to do is verify what they're saying is true. Stop and use critical thinking. Right? What am I chasing? What are the goals I have? What's my mission statement? A couple videos back, we talked about what mission statements are. Probably one of the most important foundational pieces to see what you're chasing and what you're willing to sacrifice to get it. We are to verify what we've been taught and have learned through life because we have influences all over the place. Our parents, pastors, friends, coaches, and even enemies have influence in us. Some people are saying God says, do unto others before they do unto you. That's not quite right. Matter of fact, it's not really even close. So here's what I want you to get. This is the foundation wrap of this. So if you missed the rest, I'm going to get in closer here. You need to know the original to know a counterfeit. And the original comes by evaluating what's really important to you in life and why it's important and what you're willing to do and sacrifice for this. You're choosing to cheat one side or the other. Andy Stanley has a book called When Home and Work Collide, I think is the title. It used to be called Choosing to Cheat. Everyone got the wrong intention on it. It's when work and family collide. So you're choosing to cheat from somewhere to go do something somewhere else. If it's taking you 4 more hours at work, you're cheating from somewhere else those 4 hours. And if you choose to do something over here where normally your time would be spent here, you're taking from what would have been somewhere else. So if you're going to do that, I think it's real important to know what the original is that you should be chasing. Know what's solid, good, and right for you and in your life. Quit putting patches on the front of the billboard to make it look bitchin' and cool and sweet and neat and all those things. Be willing to walk around the backside and take a good look and say, I may not like what's back there. That's okay. Because remember, actions reveal our beliefs. Outcome is the result of actions. Go back to the principle we had. I'm driving along the road. I get pulled over for speeding. That's an action. I was speeding, so I stopped. He gives me a ticket. That's a consequence. If I don't change the belief before the action, the thing that created the action, there's a belief. I'm a better driver than others would be a belief there. That speed limit's not for me. Someone, I can say, then I can lie, I can say, well, my speedometer's out of it's adjustment, it's not right, and I'm going to blame someone else, which we're pretty good at the blame game. Or I can own what I'm doing. Now, this is probably one of the best ones because I drive thousands of miles and fly thousands of miles. And I see all sorts of people acting in a certain way, and it kind of reveals what their belief is. And sometimes, believe it or not, we misjudge actions. That's why this is a personal thing for you to do instead of others. I just got stopped for a ticket. I'll be honest. Here we go. I just got stopped for a ticket. First one in 25 years. I was not happy. We were on our way back from Mexico, and Logan, son's in the car with me, and we go by this tow truck and a car and a police officer's car, and didn't go over into the left lane to go around it and go over. I thought they were far enough over to the side. Within seconds, I don't know how that cop got out of from where he was into his car and followed me and pulled me over. And he said, sir, ticket, registration, the whole thing. He goes, you know why I'm writing a ticket? And I said, I really don't. Tell me, I don't think I was speeding, didn't think I'm doing all the rest. Miles back, he could have written me for speeding because I was speeding. And he goes, no, you didn't move over and do a lane change to give protection over here. And I just told him what I thought. I said, I thought you were far enough off to the side. I didn't need to scoot over. Believe it or not, I deserved that ticket. I didn't know the law was there. Ignorance of the law doesn't change it. So I'm going to have to go to traffic school and learn some new things. If I keep doing that, if I would now go past a vehicle and not scoot over, it would probably be arrogant because I was mad I got a ticket. Or I'd still think that doesn't affect me. I'm a better judge of distance than somebody else. Do you see how I'm defending a wrong belief? Really, the best thing is say, man, thank you for letting me know, and I'll change how I drive. That means my belief, I've been given new information, so my belief changes, which means my actions change. And here's the cool thing. The outcome is I won't get tickets for not going out of the way. Now, if another car was there, you can't move over. That's not a ticket. You're blocked out. I had total room. So beliefs, actions, outcome. Look at the backside of your billboard. Trust God to reveal from the inside out what he sees, because he sees the truth. And be willing to be authentic, transparent, and vulnerable. And if we aren't available in those things, then we're filled with fear and rejection, probably from something that happened to us way back here that created a belief that I'm not ugly and fat and stupid. I'm going to prove it by doing whatever it takes for people to like me. See, there's a faulty belief that creates a faulty action, which then creates a faulty outcome. And we'll never find peace as long as we keep going that way. So I hope this helps you. We're going to keep going through this. If you would like to get a copy of Leave Your Perfect at the Door, just shoot me a note. We'll make sure we get it off to you. And this has so many lessons in it. It's just little tidbits. But believe it or not, you want little adjustments in your life, because over time, they make massive differences. A matter of fact, next time we'll probably talk about that as an introduction to the next piece. God bless you. We love you. And so looking forward to meeting up with you guys. But remember, you have to know the original to know a counterfeit. You have to know what your belief is to know if it's really true or made by someone else or correct and right. And then there's always time to make changes. The freedom we have to change is beautiful and wonderful. God bless you. Have a fantastic day. You can go back to Acts and take a look at what we were talking about, and then share your thoughts with us, okay? Go to setfreecenter.org. Put your prayer requests up there, your hopes, dreams. If you'd like to financially step up and help us with this by donating through us. It doesn't go to us. It goes through us to what we're doing in Mexico and Haiti, here in Prescott, and wherever we go, we're sharing the love of Jesus that really gives you peace and tranquility. Jesus says, my peace I give you, not as the world gives. Let not your heart be troubled. If your heart's troubled, it's because we're chasing the wrong peace usually, you guys, and we've not learned to trust in the Lord. Huh? Amen. Have a great day. Looking forward to sharing with you again tomorrow.